your kids. They're talking to the kids about their futures and what they see and their needs and their wants. The guidance counselors need to be on board with what's going on and know what the future of your cyber program is going to be. Teachers need to know. Of course they need to know. They need to be trained. They need to have someone like the online coordinator there for them when they have questions. This is new for them too. It's a scary venture for them. Parents need to understand that if you have a student in cyber school, they are a part of that education, probably more so than when they send them to the brick and mortar, because they're their face-to-face contact. So they need to make sure that their student is getting online and doing the work that needs to be done, because the teacher's not in that room with that student. So parents play an integral part in that. I know firsthand knowledge, having been a cyber school teacher. Your student needs to be a motivated learner. It's not something for everybody, but you have to have a student who's a motivated learner to find success in a cyber program. There has to be an intrinsic motivation there from them. Parents, because kids are kids, and even the most motivated learner isn't going to do what they need to do all the time. The parents need to be on them too and be aware and be alert of what's going to happen. So there has to be a lot of contact. I spent most of my time, a lot of my time in cyber school, calling home, talking to the parent, emailing the student, talking to the student because you don't have that face-to-face contact. That's why that blended approach is sort of your ideal, because then you're getting that student in your building as well as having them in the house. That's about it. Do you have any questions, comments?
I have one question.
Yes.
Several years since I've used Moodle, but at that time it was fairly difficult to navigate through. Is that any easier than what it is?
Yes, they've changed that, and that's with eAcademy to teach as part of the consortium. So if you wanted to teach within the consortium, then you have to go through their training. That's where those 10 days training comes in, and they'll go through all of that. Now on the last day, we're doing an overall basic training on Moodle for everybody, but they've definitely made it easier. That was, I like Blackboard because it seemed easier to use, but Moodle has come along. Mm-hmm.
Are there other questions for Janine?
Oh, you're welcome.
Now, I do want to just throw a follow-up statement. Janine talked about during this first year and the availability of the eAcademy courses and teachers while we're getting ours developed. We are in the process of working out an MOU that will allow us to move through that process, and so I'm hoping to bring that to you in, I almost said January, in June, in June for your approval. So we'll continue those discussions. Ern?
I've been following the Academy as it was developed at the IU, and I think one of the most important things that I've seen is that the union has agreed to allow us to do this, and they've worked very closely. They have been a consultant in this whole process, which would allow us to use, let's say, a Chinese instructor to teach our students here at Ligonier Valley, if that's one of the programs that's going to be prepared, but that's an example. But I think we've really worked very hard at the IU to get the districts together And even though there may be one right now that's not a part of it, I anticipate that they will come on board once we get this really started. So I think a lot of groundwork has been done, and this will be an exceptional opportunity for many of our students who feel that they just do not want to be a part of a brick and mortar school. So I think it's a real plus.
And I think it goes back to that whole thing we talked about, giving them choices. And as you said with the Chinese class, you're offering them a choice. Not every district in Westmoreland County could afford to pay an instructor for a Chinese course, but through this, they're going to have that opportunity.
How many other IUs are implementing the same program?
To be honest, I believe that IU 7, Westmoreland Intermediate Unit 7, has been approached definitely by one, IU 6, I believe, and I'm not sure if there's another one about joining the efforts that they've been doing and working with them to kind of mimic. To be honest, Westmoreland has been the forerunner in this, on getting it started in this way.
The other IU is paying us a fee to use our developments that we have, and there are other interests being developed out there, but there definitely is one, and I believe that contract is even being considered at this point. So.
And I mean, this is huge. The state had a statewide with almost every IU participated, a video conference about blended learning and, you know, just getting districts together and talking. It's funny because this is really breaking down the walls between districts themselves. I know through my, CFF coaching that one of the coaches the coach in Franklin Regional is teaching, I think, a Kiski student. I might be wrong on the districts, but he had gone to that building, and to see a teacher from another district in that building teaching that student, I mean, it's truly breaking down the walls of our districts. It's a real collaborative effort.
Okay, thanks, Janine.
Sure.
At this time, the board will move into executive session for the discussion of contracts and personnel matters.